Welcome, everybody, to a very special Halloween edition of the Straub Bro Sports Show. Big Bro, Coach Big Bro here, rocking with you with Olympian Little Bro. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I did miss a great opportunity to be Benny the Jet Rodriguez, but I did leave that shirt at your house. So I am an Olympic champion, as you can see, as he's draped with the American flag. But other than that, I'm doing good. And I want to share something today that I shared with you literally about an hour ago. Listening to a random song, and I get a lead and swiftly take a bag like I'm Kenny Loft. And I want to say that's a bar, but also the fact that a South Florida rapper put Kenny Loft on, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So we're doing good.
Absolutely. First of all, you dang right, Mama. You rocking with your favorite guys. And you damn right, Daniel. We are absolutely back. I guess I'm going to do the intro in the costume, and then I'll take it off at some point here. But thank you again for joining us here on I'm going to pretend like I got the cards here. I'm calling plays. Thank you for joining us once again on the 216 Sports Network. Whether you are liking and following us on Facebook, I lied. I got to take some of this off. Or whether you are one of our 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. What do you get when you follow the 216 Sports Network? A little bit of everything, baby. You get 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, the Jay Rich Show, which is going to be heavily back now that basketball is back. The Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee, you already know, multiple episodes a week. And, of course, the Straub Bro Sports Show. Where can you find the Straub Bro Sports Show? You can find us everywhere, baby. You can find us on Twitter or X at Straub Bro Sports. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. And, of course, on Instagram at Straub Bro Sports Show. More on that in a second. And on Spotify, Straub Bro Sports Show. Make sure you're checking out the Instagram. If you have and you follow, you may have checked out a certain someone, older brother me, being able to sit down with Browns legend Josh Cribbs. Yes, I got to do that. First of all, shout out to Josh for sitting down with me. He was awesome. He was amazing at a fundraiser, giving all back to the kids. There's a story in the video about that. You can find that on our Instagram page, and you can find that on my Facebook page. And if you follow the Rapids, they've been sharing that stuff as well. Speaking of the Rapids, we have our friends of the show. Shout out to my guy Austin at Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Make sure you're following them on Instagram. Create Your Own Wave 2021 and cyowapparel.myshopify.com. Please get that stuff. I shared something, was it yesterday, 2 days ago? The winter gear is here and available, and I'm telling you, it's fire. Go check that out. Now, this is a special one. I'm glad Daniel was in early for this. I told him to be so he could see this. I keep talking about our time with the Rapids. And people ask, even little bros ask, Ken, how much stuff have you done with the Rapids? You want to know how much stuff? That much stuff. So shout out to our guys at the Falls Rapids. As you see, I have been busy. If you've been checking out the Instagram account and you've been checking out the Facebook, you've seen these interviews. Coaches on the right-hand side there, players down throughout the middle, the 3 quarterbacks. I got one more to go. Obviously, that top left-hand quarter, big shout out to Daniel and Samson. I was able to interview the owners of the Falls Rapids too, but we're doing big things, man. Hashtag spread the wave. I'm telling you right now. So, hey, and I appreciate that. Best in the biz. You dang right. We work hard over here. And best in the biz to that guy too right there, because I don't know if there's there is a harder working person in the world right now than that guy is. But we are your broadcast team. Me and Strabo are going to be doing some stuff this weekend, right, Straub? I'm going to put you on the spot, right? I'm going to see you at practice Saturday. We're going to do some interviews, and we're going to run through some plays, do some practice calls. I think that'll be good for us. So we'll be doing that stuff. Check out more. I'm going to let you know right now, next week, I already got it on the schedule. Coach, offensive coordinator, that interview is going to drop Monday. And then I think we're going to drop another player Tuesday. That is to be determined. But you're going to get 2 Rapids interviews next week. So big shout out to the Falls Rapids. Big shout out to Daniel. We doing big things, man. A big shout out right there. And with that being said, let's do this, bro. The people have missed us. We've been out for a week. Shout out to me, who's obviously you hear it in the voice. I'm still not 100%. I'm trying to
Yeah.
kick this thing. But let's get rolling. So let's start with the news. So I have something that did happen last week, but I felt like we needed to touch on it. So the WNBA, and no, I don't want to talk about the championship. The players have opted out of their CBA, and a work stoppage is possible. The players cited higher television ratings, attendance figures, and franchise value. The union said the time is right for negotiating with the league and the owners. The league also recently entered into a historic 11-year media rights deal with Disney, Amazon Prime, and NBC for $200 million a year. They just had the most exciting and popular and rating wise college season of all time. Back that up with the biggest WNBA season of all time, and now they're going to go into a possible work stoppage. A, Drew, how awful is this? And two, have they not learned from their fellow men, Major League Baseball and the NBA and even the NFL, whose ratings were killed after their work stoppage?
You know, while I do somewhat understand that viewpoint of not being able to kind of build on that success because of this, unfortunately, it does come down to the fact of this is needed every single time, because if it doesn't happen, there isn't something that gets done. They will never stop and say, "Oh, you know what? Let's get you more now that we're successful." That will never happen. They will be there and they will take as much as they can get until they renegotiate. So it sucks, and it might hurt in the fact, but at the end of the day, for every player to get their cut that is proportional to what's being made, this needs to get done.
I feel ridiculous. I just want to point that
Good.
out.
Good.
And I hate you for making me do this.
It is Halloween. Have some fun.
I know. I love you. I do it for you. Um, but I agree. It's horrible timing. Number one. But I also hope these girls get their share. And I loved when this got pointed out, because it was always my number one. I do kind of agree with this. Chip, is that you? No, not Chip Kelly. He said I looked like Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly wish he could grow a beard this good. I'm gonna just say that right there, flat out. I'm gonna go Lou Holtz, but I refuse to do the Lou Holtz voice. But back to the important stuff. This is why I hate doing this. Yeah, I feel like the WNBA is gonna try to wiggle out because they are still losing money. But it was something that Kelsey Plum said, and I loved it because it was my argument against what some of the the U.S. women's national team players are arguing for. It wasn't necessary, like Kelsey Plum said. We don't want equal pay. We know we're not going to make as much money as LeBron James and whoever. We want an equal share. We want an equal cut, and that is what they are deserved. My argument with the U.S. women's team was always, you shouldn't want equal pay because the men's pay is not that good. You should want an equal share because you bring in more money than the men do. So if you asked for an equal share of what you were bringing in, you would make more money than the equal pay. But that's on the women's soccer side. I'm sorry. They want an equal cut, and they deserve it. They deserve it. These girls, the only reason we are paying, it's not the league. Okay. It's not the Lakers and the Knicks and whatever historic franchise you want to pick out, on the Celtics. Okay. Yes, we have players, but it's those teams carry weight. We don't have that in the WNBA. We are watching Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Kelsey. That's what we're watching. We're watching the players. So give the players their fair cut.
I agree.
We're gonna halfback toss. All right. I don't have any other news other than rolling into like the NBA and stuff. Do you have any news?
Not really. I think the news I'm saving for other segments. So
There you go. And here you go. I've seen Caitlin autograph rookie cards that are selling more for a salary. There's nobody who could jump in this chat and tell me a value of a card that I would believe more than the man typing it in there right there. So that should tell you everything you need to know. Okay. Not that there aren't LeBron James cards selling for a ridiculous amount, but it's not more than a salary. So pay these girls their fair share. Speaking of LeBron James, we're going to talk about that, Mom. Don't worry. Speaking of LeBron James, the NBA is back. And the Cavs are rolling, baby. Donovan Mitchell, I'm going to point this out. Donovan Mitchell is taking less shots this year than ever in his career, and he is still balling. It's fair to point out Evan Mobley is taking another leap, the leap that I've been preaching that I knew he was going to take because it was there. But that leap is starting to be made. It's harder for big men sometimes. And the 10-man rotation is keeping everybody fresh.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this right here, to sweeten it off, beautiful basketball.
It really is. The movement is amazing, and we're seeing it consistently. It's not like honestly, it used to be in the first half, and then it became not to his fault, but it became Donovan Mitchell ball, and he was the one kind of doing it. But now everyone's still getting touches. Everyone's kind of doing their thing, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Mitchell isn't the one that is having to carry massive minutes. It is going to be Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, and Ty Jerome, who is killing it in terms of impact per minutes. And so when you get down the stretch of the season, this is going to be so helpful to make sure that, honestly, maybe we've seen the past couple of years where these guys are gassed at the end of the season and can't keep it going throughout the playoffs.
We are 2 minutes into our basketball coverage, and you already went advanced stats on me. I appreciate that. I love it. I'm giving you all eyeball tests there. One of the things, and I pointed this out in a Facebook status in which I stole all of the other stuff that I had mentioned to you, some of it. When it gets to playoff time, because obviously this is a playoff team. All right, we're a playoff team. We're going to see where we get into the playoffs. When we get to playoffs and that 10-man rotation becomes an 8-man rotation or 7 or whatever, guys are going to be hungry for minutes, and they're going to ball, and they're going to fight and scrap for those minutes, which is key. And number 2, when it does get down late and we do need some hero ball, we have some stuff that they might not have seen yet, because we're not playing the hero ball right now when we don't need to. When all you got is hero ball and you're not just bombing threes, fadeaways like Dame Lillard, sometimes it's going to get figured out. So that's going to be a big key for them too. And brother, don't you ever apologize for being in late. We appreciate you having here. All right, we're going to go ice. We're going to go ice. Okay. The NHL is back too.
Yes.
The Blue Jackets were kind of rolling, and that's pretty much all I got. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, that's one of the craziest things is you have the Blue Jackets who, if we're being honest, haven't been good since their playoff run a little bit ago, are not looking bad. They're 4-3-1 with their 5th in the Metropolitan Division. Obviously not like insanely good, but they're better than the Penguins, the Flyers, and the Islanders right now. And so not a bad start for these guys. But in terms of everyone else, New Jersey Devils are rolling. Florida Panthers are rolling. The Winnipeg Jets are absolutely on fire right now. They're playing great. And then the Golden Knights, as usual, are playing pretty well. So really, really good hockey so far. Obviously, I know a lot of people don't tune in until playoff times, but we're going to get a point where maybe not everything's on TV right now. You're going to be able to watch some really good hockey right now.
We're gonna Nick wants to review the last play. I'm all in on this coach thing today. Absolutely fair to point out about the Cavaliers before we did move on that we still got Max Strus coming back. So
absolutely,
that's even bigger. And we'll get him integrated. But after further review, we actually caught that ball, so we can keep going forward. Yes, we are back. I did notice the Blue Jackets. I'm not gonna lie though. I'm kind of one of those casual tune in towards the playoffs, but I do want to point out, because I watched some of it, that Frozen Frenzy thing that they did on ESPN which was basically all the games on at once, and you could have them up in like an octo box, like you were watching the Red Zone channel. Not like I don't do that all Sunday long. That was awesome.
Listen, if Ken likes one thing, it is to be able to put up multiple
told
screens
you.
on one screen.
I told you.
There is nothing he likes more, I guarantee you.
The NCAA softball last year, they were doing the quad boxes and the listen, you bring me that, and I'm in, and I have no idea what no, but that works. But yeah, well done with the swift block there, Straub. I like that.
We don't play.
We don't play. Mama's in this chat. Don't be coming here talking reckless. Yeah, that is though. I will tell you that Edmonton is going to slip without Connor McDavid, because I will tell you this. I might be a casual, but Connor McDavid is a monster. And if I see Edmonton on, I absolutely turn them on. But that's all I got on the NHL. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, it's early. It's early. It's same with basketball. Obviously, we know the Celtics are rolling, and the Lakers are doing really well. By the way, with JJ Redick, that's a whole story. That God, he looks like he's ready, and I love it. But It's early. We don't know any big stories yet.
Yeah. And trust me, as we get done with baseball, we're going to start substituting in the basketball, and we're going to start covering it more here, because I'm a little less focused on the men's basketball this year, but that's okay. I do want to do some NFL news, because there's some stuff that happened that we should definitely talk about outside of some scores that would blow through. First of all, it has been reported now, and I may have reported this last week, so if I did, I'm sorry, that if the Detroit Lions were to make the Super Bowl, it is expected that Aiden Hutchinson might be able to participate. I'm staying updated on this.
Amazing.
I'm staying updated because at first it started he might not be out. Then it was the really not ruined, and this is just craziness. And we got to talk about Anthony Richardson.
Yo.
Hey, where's my quarterback? Guys, where's my quarterback? So, if you missed it, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson tapped out in the third quarter this past Sunday. I mean, yeah, this is whew. Come on, man, all of the above. Drew, when asked why he wasn't on the field at the press conference, Anthony was honest and said flat out, I was tired, man. He proceeded to get absolutely flamed, not by just pundits like me and you jerks who've never put our hands in the dirt on a football field. I'd put my soccer clips against any of y'all's, but that's another story for another day. But he tapped out, got flamed, not just, like I said, not by a Stephen A. Smith, not by a Greeny, not by a mere you. The players, all of the players on those tables and those shows absolutely ripped him to shreds. Thoughts?
So, one, no, you can't do that.
No.
You can't do that. I don't care how tired you are. Call a run play.
Thank you.
For the running back, throw a quick slant.
Mm-hmm.
But also, because I don't think this is touched on enough, if you look at the difference between quarterback usage, and that's in terms of passing and throwing, between Richardson and Flacco, Richardson usage is insane.
Of course.
And so while as a quarterback, you don't tap yourself out, that is just it ruins your leadership. It ruins any sort of kind of rhythm you guys have. But as a head coach and as a play caller, you have to know your quarterback's limits and know, hey, maybe we're using him a little too much, especially a guy who has been known to be injury prone the past couple of seasons. I'm not saying it's all on either side, but you also have to have some sort of mindset going into that.
I mean, not to mention, and it's worth pointing out, like, this is not a guy who started a lot of games in college either. This is not one of the things that was so intriguing about drafting Anthony was he hadn't had a lot of snaps from high school into college, into the pros. There was some rawness. There was some weighted development, or way to develop stuff like that. Well, now you're seeing a guy who, has not done this very often. He hasn't. Like at Florida, what did he play? Like 3 games at Florida? I mean,
Not
you're
a
talking
lot.
about a guy who has not done this. Even last year, he was hurt. What's going on, mama? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is hello. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really not surprised. But, yeah. How do you not? How do you not have some kind of code between you and the offense, or you and the coach? Walrus, and I'm feeling fat right now. I need to take a break. You know what I mean? Whatever it might be. Yeah, it is wild. Like, look, that some of these guys are just not able to go, and it's also hard to put it on a guy who hasn't had that many snaps. It goes back and forth.
Hold on.
Is he though?
Is he though?
Because this is what I'm gonna tell you, Sean. He lost his locker room the minute he opened up his mouth and he said that. That's why he got benched. If he didn't lose his locker room, he's still the quarterback because the
Was he
guys
the
would have
issue?
rallied. Because the guys would have rallied behind. Hold on, the guys would have rallied behind him, and they would have said, "No, we got you, man. We got this." And the coach would have saw that. What that tells me is they walked into the locker room the next day, and there was a whole lot of side eye, and they were like, "No, we got to do this."
Yeah. And I will say, obviously we don't have to take their word at face value. They said this was performance based. This was stats and actually playing well that they didn't feel was enough. And that's why they put in Flacco for the time that he was in and his connection to the receivers. And so it's possible that obviously the tiredness and the taking himself out was a part of it. But I think it's also a part of he just wasn't playing well. And listen, I get
I
that we
agree
have
with that,
short.
but I still don't think that decision gets made if
I don't know. You have a hot backup quarterback in Flacco who just led a team to the playoffs last season, and you're kind of on the cusp of that right now. It's not uncommon for a head coach to say, "Listen, we're going to play the hot hand and just wait for you to develop an extra year just so we have a chance to make the playoffs."
Talent-wise, I agree. I 100% agree. The Indy will play better from this point forward. Talent-wise, I agree with Nick's point here. If you just took Anthony Richards' talent and you took the skill set, absolutely. Tuck him away for a couple years, he pops back up. He's so young, it happens. He lost his locker room with his mouth and what he said. The play itself isn't going to win that back. And I know this is going to sound drastic, and I'm going to sound like first take, get up, whatever hot take you want to call it, but this is the truth. If he doesn't figure out how to possibly win that locker room back, not necessarily the job from Flacco, but if he can win his part of the locker room back, he'll be okay. If he cannot, is a possibility this kid doesn't play in the NFL again.
Yeah.
There have been plenty of guys way more talented who have had less chances. And I said this in the group chat, and I want to point it out. For every Sam Darnold and Geno Smith and Alex Smith, hold on, you're right. There's a Johnny Manziel, a Ryan Leaf, and a Jamarcus Russell. So just because you got some talent doesn't mean that you're going to get a job.
You're absolutely right. And I think this is a good point too, is this, we both hit it. It is so funny to me because you see these quarterbacks that go into systems that you just know aren't going to work, but the talent's there. And I think it was the same with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold didn't have a single target to throw to in either Carolina or New York, and he still kind of played okay. And then he gets some actual receivers and tight ends and running backs in Minnesota, and now he's insane and he's killing it.
Well, not just the target.
Well, yeah, it's just you obviously it happened with the Browns for so long. How many quarterbacks do you think that we drafted that if he went to a different team,
even go that far
would have
back.
played better?
Deshaun Watson didn't fit your coach's play style. Look how it went for you. Jameis Winston fits your play style. Look how different Sunday looked. I mean, we're going to get to that in a second, but I mean, yeah, I mean, same thing. Justin Fields, you can complain all you want about how Pittsburgh has looked, and we've made fun of them. That offense looked a hell of a lot better with Justin Fields than it did before. And Russell Wilson hasn't looked horrible at all either. And yeah, Justin Fields is going to look even better sitting under Russell. And no, I disagree with you. It was why it was even stupider to trade
I
Baker.
don't want to get into
because
it.
all he needed to do was get healthy, and your offense would have been rolling, and you'd be an AFC contender. But I know you don't want to do that, so we'll keep it rolling.
Thank you, because do you know how many times
I know
I have that thought? It's every single time I see a highlight or play or even see Baker Mayfield, and I watch Deshaun Watson.
I know. All right. 25-minute news segment. That's what happens when we take a week off. Thankfully, we have a lot of stuff to blow through. Yeah. But on that last note, yeah, Baker doing it with no-name receivers now that they're injured in Tampa. And then when you give them some guys like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, look what the hell happens. All right, let's make fun of people. It is time for your John Fisher of the week. If you're joining us new and you don't know who that is the awful owner of the Oakland A's and the San Jose Earthquakes, both teams who finished at the very bottom of their respective leagues. Obviously, I go first to get rid of the bad stuff. And here, I'm going to keep it home in Cleveland. Cleveland Browns fans, I know we've been off for 2 weeks, but that doesn't mean I was going to let you slide. I'm speaking to specifically the couple. It was more than hundreds. So I want to say 1,000 or so fans who decided that it was a good idea to boo Deshaun Watson when he tore his ACL and was on the ground. You're clowns. Just let's get that out of the way. You bring disrespect and bad names to the Cleveland Browns fans. So shame on you. This is also why I get into arguments sometimes about when Cleveland people say that they're the best fans in the world. No, you're not. Because the Pete fans who do this are Philly fans, and we just ragdoll them because they're awful people, and New York fans because we ragdoll them because they can be awful people. Speaking of New York fans, specifically Yankee fans, my more important John Fisher of the week to you two jackasses who decided it was a good idea to not just try to catch a ball away from Mookie Betts, but to strong arm Mookie's hand in his glove to try to rip the ball out. And then the other word I'm going to stop cussing, the other guy who then grabbed Mookie's arm to try to stop him from trying to free his own hand and get it safe. I wish they would have charged you two idiots, not just throwing you out. And I didn't hear a lifetime ban. The one thing I read, they were banned from tonight's game. Well, yeah, I would hope you would be banned from tonight's game. It needs to be permanently forever. You should be not allowed into you shouldn't be allowed in a minor league ballpark, let alone a major league ballpark. You shouldn't be allowed at a softball game. Okay. You should be banned from anywhere in which there are 4 bases and a mound. And I feel like you should have been charged because you're an embarrassment to all baseball fans everywhere and fans in general.
Yeah. I mean, good points on both, especially on the Yankee one, just because, listen, you're in a World Series game. You're bitter because your team is down 3 games to none at that point. Mm-hmm. And you could have done something that literally could have broken this man's wrist. Yes. Or at least kept him out of games for the rest of the series. It's absolutely despicable.
And yes, in the most unrelated or in the most, I don't know which one was the worst or hilarious. The fact that these idiots did this, not hilarious, but that these did this, or that Gronk knew them. Oh, and I didn't know this, and that's good to hear that they're going to be charged. Good. You're idiots. You're idiots. You're idiots. And listen, I understand reaching for a ball. I do. I really, really do. I no one in their right mind, Yankees fans included, can condone that. All right, your turn.
All right. Mine is not sports related.
Thank you. Damn for life.
Thanks, Mom. Mine is the people that own my apartment complex. Because currently they have, because it has gotten into fall time, they have switched off the central air and turned to heat, which is fine. If it wasn't for that, they are consistently blasting heat in my hallways, which is making my current temperature for the past 2 weeks a nice and steamy 78 degrees without the windows open, and 74, 75, 76 with the windows open. And so I am sweating through this right now. It is not a fun time.
That is the most first world problem John Fisher of the week we have ever had.
It is.
And I think it kind of fits the theme. So I'm not even mad at you there. All right, kid. Now let's have some fun. Let's give away some good stuff. It's time for your honorary Straub Bro of the week, presented to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Don't ride the wave, create your own, and become a Straub Bro of the week. Straub, you kick us off.
Yes. First, as always, Ashton Genty watch. Last week against the win against UNLV, 33 carries, 128 yards, and a touchdown. He is currently at 1,376 yards and 18 touchdowns. Actually, down in terms of his average yards and his touchdowns per game, which is insane to me.
Hang on.
That.
Did you see the awesome thing that I sent you on Instagram about him?
Yes, you did. If you want
it's basically a map that shows if Ashton Genty has more rushing touchdowns or rushing yards than you, he gets your school's territory, and he has like 80% or 90% of the country covered.
It's still remaining.
I did notice your Cincinnati Bearcats were still there. My Notre Dame Fighting Irish were not, even though all my quarterback does is run.
Okay. Second one, and unfortunately, it is a little bit of a somber note. My second Straub Bro of the week is none other than Jim Donovan. For those that don't know, Jim Donovan passed away earlier this week, and it really hit home for a lot of people from Cleveland. Browns fans or not, they, like me, grew up listening to Jim Donovan call Browns games. He called them for 24 years before he unfortunately passed away. He was the anchor for Channel 3 and honestly was the voice of the Browns. The best compliment that I can give him is that it was like listening to a super fan in the booth, but was able to eloquently call Browns games as well as you can. The countless moments of kind of hearing him screaming as, a Browns player broke away on a touchdown and getting as giddy as basically all we were listening to him. He will never be forgotten. He is one of the greatest Cleveland announcers. It is really tough because obviously a couple years ago we lost Fred McLeod. We lose Jim Donovan,
Joe Tate,
and then obviously not saying anything, but obviously we are getting hammy, getting up there in age and calling less and less games. Not saying anything about that, but it's one of those ones where such iconic childhood voices are going to be very, very hard to replace. But he will be missed deeply. He is survived by his wife Cheryl and his daughter Megan, and yeah, that's one's tough for me. Really is tough.
Yeah. Man, usually it's me on the other side doing this one. But of course, out of respect of the lifelong Cleveland Browns fan, I wanted to offer you. I mean, I'm not offer you. That's yours to do. But I have to mention. So like you said, even if you weren't a fan, so I rag on the Brownies a little bit, but I do not root against Cleveland. Period. Okay, like never forget, this is my city, regardless. So I never rooted against the Browns. They weren't here for a while growing up for me. But when they came back, one of my biggest, memories with our dad is, Dad he didn't like TV announcers. He's not a TV announcer guy. He likes his home guys. I grew up on Joe Tate and Hammy, and you know what I mean? And what he would do is, he'd turn the TV on and have the Browns game on, and on that big old stereo was Jim Donovan. And so every Sunday, I grew up, I'd be upstairs watching TV in my room or, playing up in the room. But Jim Donovan was the voice of my every single Sunday. So I grew up with that. I grew up with his passion. I used to joke that other than Cowboys, I can name you just as many Steelers and Ravens, or, not at the time Ravens, but Steelers and Browns, because that's what I grew up listening to. So he's why we want to call football games. It's why we're going to be the broadcast crew for the Rapids. I'll bring it home for us. And you know what I mean? When I get into that booth, I want to be like Jim Donovan. 100%. I want to call it with that passion. I want to love a football team as much as and call their games as much as that man loved and called those games for the Browns. He will be absolutely missed. We mentioned Fred McLeod. We absolutely have to. You know, I encourage you when you get done with us to go online, and the two calls that you should go listen to is the one that Fred McLeod's wife shared with all of us of her video of when he got to call us winning the championship in Golden State, him and Austin Carr, and their emotional call and reaction after. And go look at the video of his call when the Browns made the playoffs, because nobody felt it more than him. You may have matched Jim, but no one wanted that more, and nobody called it with more passion. Yeah, and then Chubba Hubba Wubba. That's a great one too. So yeah, he will be absolutely sorely missed. And well done, sir. That was beautifully said. All right.
All right.
Yeah, transition time for me. My Straub bro of the week. I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do Jimmy. I'm gonna do Jimmy Proud here, because we're gonna turn it around to the youth. Okay. My Straub bro of the week. My Straub bros of the week is me, kind of. I want to give the biggest shout out in the world to my I-9 youth team, who went undefeated this year, 7-0. And I'm going to do this because this is what I'm here for. That right there. We only had one close game all year. And I got to give it up for one of the best group of kids that I have ever coached. For real. I have coached a combined 13 years now. We had a combined 3 missed games, and that was 1 kid per game. Okay. The commitment was real. They showed up hungry to learn. They picked up the game very well. And by mid-season, and Straub was there, we were stringing multiple passes together for goals. We are the scariest team in the history of I-9 and throw-ins. I'm going to just tell you right now, shout out to Gabby. And corner kicks. We are deadly. These kids listen to me all year, where to go, where to be, and we were playing some real proper footy out there. We played great defense too. We rarely gave up any goals this year as well. So from left to right in this photo here, I got to give my shout outs. First of all, that's my guy there. That's my son, Landon. Then there's Ellie, Sawyer, Sammy, Mikey, Jonah, Gabby, and Hassan. You are a bunch of stars and beasts, and I cannot wait to get you all back together in January for indoor. So shout out to all of them.
I was gonna say, I only slightly take it personally that he said one of the best teams you've ever coached when you coached me for like 10 years.
I'll get to that in a second. I also want to give a big shout out to their parents, because I can't do this if they don't show up every week and want me to be the coach. I said one of the best, specifically being this is probably in terms of strictly just fun with no pressure. It has to be up there. The problem when I coached you is we had all the pressure that you could possibly put on some youth teams in our area. And we hit those expectations and met those, but stressed on the way to those games, man. Stressed. Okay. We were blasting
right now tactics.
Yeah, we were me and Landon were blasting the clean Paw Patrol version of Charlie XO I Don't Care on our way. Okay. There was a whole different vibe on the way to those games. So shout out to those guys. Those are my boys and girls. And I will absolutely look forward to seeing them in January. All right. Go ahead.
Quick. I just got this notification, and I hate giving a Straub to the Yankees, but the tickets from those band fans tonight, the Yankees distributed them to a pediatric cancer patient and his family. And so shout out to you guys. That's a really good thing to do. So props to you guys. That'll be my last Straub.
Way to not let 2 boneheads make the rest of your people look bad. Way to clean that up. That's exactly how you're supposed to do that. All right, let's actually talk about some games and some scores, man. We are we are running long as we can be. It's time for the saddest one of the year. It's time to guard the land. The last time we talked, the Guardians, we're still in the playoffs. Now that we're talking, it's Game 5 of the World Series, and we're obviously not in it. So the ride is over for us Guardian fans. This is all I'm gonna say on this, man. When you lose in the ALCS with runners in scoring position and your best hitters at bat and hitting counts, and you lose with your best pitchers on the mound with 2 strikes, you tip your hat to the other team and you get to spring training and you go back at it. That's all I got.
Yep.
Let's move on.
And you know what? I will say real quick.
Go ahead.
Other years, when we lost in the playoffs, there was very much unless we make some moves, there's not much we can do because we've hit our ceiling and stuff like that. I feel like our ceiling is a lot higher than what we've had in those previous years. And a lot of those guys are under contract or under minor leagues, holds for at least the next 2 or 3 years. And so we have a young team, a young manager who's still learning and kind of getting used to things. I'm excited. I honestly, a day after the World Series, I was ready for it to be March, and I'm ready for spring trading to come back because I want to watch this team again because no matter if we lost, this team was so fun to watch throughout the year.
Dude, it was beyond fun to watch. And we just have to we can be honest now that we're 2 weeks out. We overachieved this year.
Yeah.
Okay, we overachieved. Cool. Now we get our pitching back, some of it. I have hope for the Bieber re-sign. I really do.
Somebody McKenzie plays better.
I hope he's going to get the surgery now that he should have been having, but that's another discussion for another day. I want to bring Boyd back. Yeah, I'm not really sold on Cobb. I would be, and I'm trying to put his comment up so it actually can be there. There it is. I'd be willing to sign Cobb to a minor league deal. I'm always willing to do that because that's nothing. But yeah, I'm excited. There's nothing to hang your hats on when the 2 best teams in baseball are playing in the World Series. I don't care how much you might hate them, and I don't care. And here I'll put the graphic up for everybody. I don't care how much you might hate them. I don't care how much we hate Moneyball or we hate these big teams, all that. Other than the Guardians, who were a bit of a fluke in terms of how great we played, and overachieving, and this point exactly, faced a fantastic Central Division, fought and won it. We overachieved. Every other time we didn't have the best record in baseball, who were the 2 of the 3 teams who had it? The Dodgers and the Yankees. There you go. So yes, be mad they spend a crap ton of money and all that, and I got you, and you can be, but I also can't be mad that the 2 best teams in baseball are in the World Series. Go ahead.
So we'll probably touch on this at a later date, but Bieber, Hedges, Boyd, and Cobb are your 4 free agents. That's it. Everyone else is staying. So really, honestly, if I'm being honest, Bieber is your top priority by a mile. Hedges, honestly, if you want to come as a bench coach,
take a cheap deal, and I want him. Or I don't care. Give him a roster spot. I like him catching. I don't care.
Yeah, and Boyd, obviously, I want back. Cobb, like you said, free agency. But that's not what I was going to say, anyways. The thing that gives me the most hope and the most inspiration. Dolan does not spend money unless he knows he has a team.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he has a team, and we have a minority owner that has come in and is ready to put in money. We will be much better in terms of being able to financially pay players than we have in previous years because Dolan knows he has a contender now, and this is why I think we are going to be able to match a lot of Bieber's offers.
We'll see. I hope so. I don't want to touch too much on summertime or summer hot deals.
That's why I said we can talk about it later.
No, right, hot stove. But I do want to touch on the World Series that is happening. And I kind of really only have one comment. Stop pitching to Freddie Freeman. Yeah, you're a hater. And
the series is boring, man. I'm sorry. It's not fun to watch. I'm not saying it because the Guardians lost. I'm saying it because other than last night's game, because last night's game was fun, the other 3 games have been boring.
Not for me because I've enjoyed watching LA slaughter the Yankees. So
yes, but in terms of actual baseball, it's been really boring. That is a very hot take that I kind of agree with.
But Shohei Ohtani has not done great. However, the shoulder is banged up. But the
Yeah,
shoulder
I
was
don't want to. I don't want to give him I don't want to give him a
an
stick because he's been dealing with that forever.
right. But yeah, Aaron Judge, hello? Where are you? Are you there? I mean, I know they have other guys. I know Juan Soto's there. I'm just saying, where are you? So, all right, enough baseball. I don't want to talk anymore baseball. As much as I have enjoyed the World Series, you poo-pooing on it doesn't make me want to talk about it anymore. All right, let's talk NFL. Your turn.
Yeah,
Bang us on a
if we look
graphic
at
so I can get rolling. All right, here we go. We started Thursday night with a major beatdown. The Rams took care of the Vikings 20-30. No, we will not. No, we will not. I'm just gonna ignore it. We can keep it rolling. I love that our scores never match. I think it's the funnest part about doing this.
well, we won,
Uh,
so I had to put him up front.
Oh, okay, that's why. Starting Sunday, the Eagles took care of the Bengals 37-17. The Brownies 29-24 over the Ravens. Won it for Jim. I posted that of myself on the Facebook. You better have won that game. And holy bleep, how does the Browns look when they actually have a quarterback who can just take a step back and slang that thing? How about that? You score points. First time that you scored over, was it 17 or
20.
19 or over 20 this year? You looked great. Not well, you didn't look great. You looked good, but you played the Ravens and you won. So I'm going to say you looked great. And the key for me was no Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to people the other day. I said, I don't care if we lose. I want to go down swinging. And with Deshaun Watson, you went down scared. You went down looking. You took strike 3 right down the middle every single time. At least with Jameis, he's swinging for the fences with a 2-2 count or a 3-2 count. And that's what I want to see out of my quarterback. I can't let a quarterback just sit in the pocket and take a sack over and over and over again. And so that's the massive key here. Jameis could look not like half as good as he did in this game, and I'd still be okay with it because that is what I need. I need a quarterback that is going to take the chances that Jameis takes. And this is what happens. Sometimes you lose, but you give yourself a chance to win.
Now, I have to be honest because I did, just throw just nothing but fireworks your way. You should have lost.
Oh,
3 picks
100%.
should have happened. The last one by
I don't know
former
how he
Notre Dame
dropped it.
from a former Notre Dame guy was a little disappointing. I confused the absolute hell out of your nephew because I was like, oh, he's Notre Dame. And he was like, Notre Dame's playing, Dad? I was like, no, don't worry about it. But yeah, Kyle Hamilton. I was scrambling to find the
Yeah.
name there. That was wild. But I mean, hey, you ate that dub. You ate that dub.
Dude,
All
the
right.
best is when he gives. I think I sent it to you. It's the old Key and Peele sketch where the Ravens were so ready to come in, and Jameis Winston's like, "To the power of God, he came through it and led me through that drive," and it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, no,
It is enough.
I am not no playoff talk about. We're 2-6.
You're
I'm
drunk.
good.
You're drunk on last year, and I understand, but you're drunk on last year.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
keep it.
last year we weren't that bad.
No, I got you. Let's keep it rolling with these out of order scores. The Lions took care of the Titans 52-14. The Cardinals beat Tua in his return 28-27. The Patriots on a final drive come back and beat the Jets 25-22. How bad is it in New York? Oh, it is so bad, and there's
So
enough
bad.
ayahuasca in the world to save them right now. The Falcons took care of the Buccaneers 31-26. Packers over the Jaguars 30-27. But bigger news than that Jordan Love got banged up
Yeah,
again. Texans took care of the tired Colts 23-20. The Chargers took care of the Saints 26-8. Bills over the Seahawks 31-10. Broncos stomped out the Panthers and then talked some smack afterwards 28-14. Chiefs over the Raiders 27-20. The Commanders over the Bears 18-15. Got to stop and talk about this one because we have the play of the year and it might not be stopped. Craig, we'll get to you in a minute. If you missed it, Chicago kind of controlled the game. Washington got back in it, and then with 3 seconds left, Jaden Daniels throws a Hail Mary that's tipped backwards and caught. Touchdown. Washington wins. Walk off.
Did you see the video?
Oh, the video of the guy waving to the crowd? Yeah, I would have cut him immediately.
Tyreek Stevenson taunted the Washington Commanders
until there was
fans
4 seconds into the play.
and then ran in and was the guy that tipped the ball to the Commanders receiver who caught it. He obviously apologized to his teammates
Least he could
and did that. But yeah, not a great look. I mean, if we're being honest.
Not at all.
No. If we're being honest.
We are here.
There was he specifically didn't mess up that play. He did his job. He jumped up and he blew it away. There was no one behind him to cover that receiver.
Was that his job? We don't know. Was that his job?
Obviously, we don't know. But in terms of that, the only thing that looks bad is that he got unlucky after taunting the fans.
I mean, yeah, if he makes the play,
it looks badass.
If he makes the play, yeah, you're a boss. You're Deion Sanders. You're all that. But yeah, in a Sunday night game, the San Francisco 49ers beat up my Cowboys 30-24. I mean,
thank you for the CD points, by the way.
You're welcome. I mean, I thank myself for that one too. Listen, we were without Micah Parsons and still DeMarcus Lawrence and Lawrence was back, but our corner Bland. We lost by 6. And everybody acts like we got stomped the hell out. I get it. We're the Cowboys. We're supposed to go undefeated, and Jerry Jones is supposed to stomp on everybody, but whatever. I don't care. There's nothing you can say to me as a 35-year-old man who's been a lifelong Cowboys fan. There's nothing you can say to hurt my feelings. So let's just move. So say it. Exactly. All right.
Pittsburgh moving on Monday night.
Yeah. In our Monday night game, Pittsburgh almost blew it, but they beat the Giants 26-18. All these damn Steeler fans in the chat. Here we go. Let's talk about the Steelers. Steelers gross. To the ship. All right. I will say this. I said they would be better. Yeah, number one, play a good team. Number two, I said originally that because Russell Wilson was tagged as a starter, that they would be better and they would have won their first round matchup in the playoffs if they had Russell Wilson playing the way he played in Denver and Pittsburgh. 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Russell Wilson's going to play like that. Steelers are going to be hard to beat because they don't. If they don't turn the ball over, yeah, they're going to be tough to beat. Get out of here with your Super Bowl.
They're good. They're not. I want to see them play an actual team before I make any sort of judgment. So,
absolutely. All right, week 9. We got Texans at Jets, Chargers at Browns, Dolphins and Bills, Broncos and Ravens, Saints and Panthers, I almost called them Oakland. Sorry, Oakland. Raiders and Bengals, Commanders and Giants, Cowboys at Falcons.
Fun game.
Patriots at Titans, Bears at Cardinals, the Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Eagles, Lions and Packers, Rams and Seahawks, Colts and Minnesota. And then Monday night, we have the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. And your 2 teams on a bye this week, those Pittsburgh Steelers and those San Francisco 49ers. Yes, you are right, Daniel. They have one of the greatest defense. Whoa, hold on. Of all time. I don't know about all time. TJ Watt is a monster. I don't know about for MVP. I don't even sure. Let's wow. I don't know when this just became a Pittsburgh Homer podcast, but TJ Watt's a monster. I don't know about MVP. They have a great defense. If you play mistake-free football, that is how you win. Now, I guess what you do one for Russ and he retires out on top. I will throw up. I'll say it all time. No, I won't even put those comments on the board here for you. Say it all time. No, I will not. All right. That's enough of the NFL. Let's get rolling into the NCAA. We got a lot of stuff to still cover. Let me find what I need to find. There it is. All right. So we had a wild, I don't want to say a wild weekend, but we did have a weekend. Let's put your face up there. Hey, people want to see you. But let's get rolling, starting at the top. Yeah, listen. Hey, I'm a hater. I'll keep. Yeah, I'm a hater. I'm a hater. I want to see you. I want to see you do it in the playoffs. That's all. All right. It's still early. Okay. All time. Yeah, Ray Lewis, all time, not that. Take that banner down for me, Drew, and just leave it blank as I get rolling on these NCAA scores, both banners actually. They started Thursday. Pittsburgh took care of Syracuse, 19-13. And then also I'm sorry, that was Thursday. And then Friday, Drew's Boise State Broncos took down UNLV 29-24. And then we got rolling into Saturday. Number 1 Oregon stomped out number 20 Illinois 38-9. Penn State overcame injury to quarterback Drew Allar to take care of Wisconsin 28-13. I'm not even going to ask Drew about this game because we're going to talk about the big one this week. Ohio State avoided a major upset as they took down Nebraska 21-17.
64
absolutely
rushing yards.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, big shout out to Daniel Demand's Pittsburgh Panthers, who did take care of business. I don't know about continued greatness, but you are undefeated. We'll talk more about your big matchup this week. Number 5, Texas avoided a very, very scary situation with Vanderbilt as they won 27-24. Miami, the U, took care of Florida State 36-14. Ha ha. Brian Kelly and LSU. Texas A&M took them down 38-23 as Brian Kelly loses another big game. BYU took care of UCF 37-24. Whew. My Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and I'm going full costume for that one, blew the doors off of Navy 51-14. How do you like me now, baby?
That's more just disrespectful.
Absolutely was. I apologize. Caused Navy's first fumbles of the year as well. More on my island. Yeah.
7 fumbles, 5 lost, and an interception. Like, huh?
No one is winning when you do that. NFL versus a college team. That's the only way you could get an upset if that ever happened. But more on my Irish in the rankings later. Indiana, with game day there, took care of Washington 31-17. Alabama rolled tide 34-0 over a struggling Missouri Tigers team. Kansas State avoided another upset as they took down Kansas 29-27. Ole Miss beat Oklahoma 26-14. SMU squeaked out a win in overtime against Duke 28-27. So that is last week, and now it is time to talk about this week. And we had some changes in the rankings. 2 big risers in the rankings. Number 1, Texas A&M vaulted 4 spots up to the number 10 position, and my Notre Dame Fighting Irish up 4 spots into a very nice and comfortable college football playoff 8th position. Those are your biggest risers. Your biggest drops, obviously, being LSU going down 8 spots. Illinois, Missouri down 4 as well. We will get to our newcomers in the top 25 because I got something fun for that. But it is time to talk about the big games of the week presented to you by the Falls Rapids. Man, let's ride this wave, buddy. First game of the week, the biggest game so far, probably, or well, I guess we could keep saying this every week because they keep just getting bigger. Number 4, Ohio State travels to Happy Valley to take on number 3, Penn State. All right, Drew, this is finally it. It is put up or shut up time for both of these teams. With a loss, OSU might be cooked. With a loss for Penn State, they would have a mountain to climb, but wouldn't be out of it from anyone else's perspective other than yours. I have been bugging you for weeks to talk about Penn State, and your comment every week is I don't care. Do it against Ohio State. Well, Drew, it's Ohio State week.
And this is exactly why I have 2 words. Prove it. You are at home. You are undefeated. And you are going up against an Ohio State team that lost to Oregon and could not run the ball against Nebraska. Listen, I am like an ex-girlfriend that's still in love. I want you to show me that you've changed, okay? Because if you win this game, you are almost guaranteed a trip to the conference championship. Or you could be like you typically are, get beat by Ohio State, and show that you'll never be able to compete with any of these higher up teams. You have the quarterback, you have the defense, you have everything going your way. If you cannot beat this Ohio State team, I will never, ever think that you can do it because this is the best chance you've got.
I agree. However, they might be without their starting quarterback Drew Alar, which would be
I think I saw reports that he's good to go.
okay. That would be tough for them. Yeah, man, you're facing an Ohio State team that lost to Oregon and should have lost to Nebraska. Doesn't seem like they can run the ball. The problem, I guess, I would say is normally, I mean, you didn't want to play an Ohio State team that was getting up for you. I'm not sure if Ryan Day brings that same intensity level and that same aspect to this Ohio State team. So it's all there for Penn State. Everything is right there in front of you. It is those are your coins to pick up. Don't slip.
Can you do it?
Don't trip up. Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, yeah, the game I think is the thing that helps Penn State is if this was a game that they had won in seasons prior, I would say they are on major upset alert, and I would be looking out for Ohio State. But while it's a bigger game for Ohio State in terms of they've already got one loss and cannot afford another one, Penn State is hungry to knock off Ohio State when they're already close to the edge and finally get over that hump, carry that goalpost to whatever river they throw theirs in, and take their Big Ten fine. More on that later on Big Bros, Big Bets, on Georgia being on upset watch. Our next big game of the week. Where are you, Daniel? Number 18 Pitt travel to take on number 20 SMU. Who's real? Who run it? Who wants to be the Cinderella of their conference? Right now, Pitt has the better route, somewhat, because they are undefeated. SMU does have a loss. But if Pitt was to leap this hurdle, they still have Clemson on the schedule, where SMU does have that one loss. They have an easier-ish route where they have Boston College, which will be a tough game, followed by Virginia and Cal.
Yeah.
Drew, who run it?
See, I looked at this game and I went, I think it's a pretty even game. Both teams are kind of flying. I think Pitt obviously has a little bit more going for it, but I think SMU isn't a pushover either. It should be a good game. SMU is heavily favored, I think by like 7.5. And I honestly don't know why. Like, I really delved into this to see why. I think the only reason is because they're at home. In terms of schedule, like strength of schedule, offensive, defensive stats, they're very, very similar. And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I like this Pitt team. UC should have beaten them, if I'm being completely honest. We blew that game. But this Pitt team is legit. And I really think if SMU can't get past Pitt's really strong defense, Pitt's going to be rolling again. And so this is a game I'm going to be watching to see if SMU is still American Group of Five talent or if they've finally leveled up to Power Five talent. And I think this is a big test for them.
Unlike the Steelers, I have a little bit more love for these Pitt Panthers. They are slept on. They are because while I absolutely believe, I use my corny line all the time, I believe in green jerseys and yellow pants and touching rocks before games. So I believe in all the college superstitions. So 100% I understand home field advantage in a college game is much different than in an NFL game. But yeah, a lot of disrespect to these Pitt Panthers. I don't agree. More on that one later in Big Bros Big Bets as well. And those are your big games. I do want to run again along some of the rest of the top 25. Oregon travels to the Big House to take on Michigan. We'll see if Michigan can maybe muster up some upset love. In the world's largest cocktail party, the Georgia Bulldogs take on Florida.
Such a weird name.
It is such a weird name. Yeah, Bulldogs and Gators. Sean says Georgia on upset alert. I'm not so sure that Georgia doesn't stomp out some Gator. We talked about Penn State, Ohio State. Miami takes on Duke. Texas is off this week. We've got Tennessee and Kentucky in a nice rivalry game. I expect that one to be close. My Irish are off this week. So is BYU. Texas A&M takes on one of my my sleeper picks, my dangerous South Carolina Gamecocks. I hope South Carolina can keep that close. Clemson and Louisville in a nice rivalry game. We've got Iowa State and Texas Tech. Indiana looks to keep the run going as they try to make their run to the Big Ten title game as they take on Michigan State. Alabama is off this week. We've got Boise State and San Diego State. LSU has a much-needed week off. Kansas State and Houston. We've got Ole Miss and Arkansas. SMU versus we did that. We've got the Army Black Knights taking on Air Force, and I love that. More on that one later. Washington State is off, but they are a newcomer. I wanted to give them some love. Welcome to the top 25 as they debut at number 22. And oh yeah, baby, number 23, the Colorado Buffaloes. Where the haters at? All right, as I put my Coach Prime glasses on, where are my haters? I want all of you, all right, and I'm taking names. Colorado is only going to win 3 or 4 games this year, too. Coach Prime, it's all flash. It's no substance. Shador's overrated. Eat it. Eat it. 6-2 with a route to the Big 12 championship.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know you don't. I do. Number 24, Illinois Fighting Illini take on Minnesota. And lastly, hanging on to their top 25 ranking, the Missouri Tigers take a much needed week off. I do want to point out something funny that happened this week because things are starting to happen where we are having multiple teams that are off this week. Texas A&M jumped, Notre Dame jumped. Clemson and Iowa State both went down in the rankings, both didn't play last week. So we're having some of that start to happen as well as teams are missing out on games, and that will do it for our college schedule. But let's have some fun. I've been talking about it. Let's gamble and make some money. It's time for Big Bros, Big Bets. I didn't forget about you. This is what I threw up the last time that we talked. And ladies and gentlemen, we killed it. 13-7 on our big boy stuff this week. Upset Central stays off to its own. Spread.
Is that for the Arizona State game?
What?
Is that for the Arizona State game?
Yeah.
I was like, because we lost the Colorado game by 11, so I don't know how you got that.
I had no spread party there. Shout out to Oregon, BYU, and Army, SMU, UCLA, Miami, and Cincinnati for covering their spreads. Our NFL run-in rolled those 2 weeks ago as well. Bills, Lions, Bengals, Eagles, Commanders, Chiefs, Falcons, and Jets. What happened? What happened to you? And our upsets fell horribly flat, but it's a new day. Oh, yes, it is. Let's go. Your spread party. Let me get to it. I like Miami, 21.5 over Duke. Sorry, bro. Give me Army, 22.5 over Air Force. Nothing close. Army has covered covered every spread so far this year. Why would I deny them? I like Ole Miss, big over Arkansas. That's 7.5. I believe in the Ducks. Give me Oregon, 15.5 over Michigan. And here, I got them in here. Give me Florida State plus 2.5 over North Carolina. They got to win a game, right? Right? I think this is the week they do it. I think Indiana continues to roll. Give me them 7.5 over Michigan State. And I'm keeping it with our cadets. I'm giving some love back to Navy. Give me Navy minus 11.5 over Rice. There is no way a service academy plays sloppy 2 weeks in a row like that. That is just not happening in my mind. Running this as a straight parlay, you risk your own money there. But I'm going to as well, so it's okay. Upset Central. I like Penn State plus 138 over Ohio State. Well, not necessarily like it. Well, I do like that, but those are your numbers. If you disagree with me on the rest of them, here, Arkansas plus 205 over Ole Miss. Michigan plus 570 over Oregon. Vanderbilt, if you think they continue to roll, I actually really like this Vanderbilt one. Plus 195 over Auburn. The way Vanderbilt's been playing after they almost upset Texas, I don't know if there's going to be a letdown. I already told you Florida State, however you like that one. They're plus 114 over North Carolina. Florida, if you do like it, Sean, plus 540 over Georgia. You get some good money there, baby. Michigan State plus 225 over Indiana. If you think the ride is over for them, you know I love me some Arizona. All All right, you know I love me some Arizona, man. Plus 180 over UCF. And hey, you know I love the Gamecocks as well. South Carolina plus 116 over A&M. South Carolina is at home. You know I like the Hammer. That's a tough place to play. I don't care. I'll say it every week. And you talked about it, and I like it. Pitt plus 240 right now over SMU as of last night. That is nuts. I don't even care if you go to SMU. That don't make any sense.
I mean,
And then go ahead.
I was gonna say I like the Pitt, I like the Vandian. Maybe I like the Penn State. Maybe I like the
Hey,
Penn State.
of course we like the Penn State. And lastly, on your NFL run-in, not to be forgotten, I've been hot with these. Give me the Saints over the Panthers, Commanders over the Giants, Bengals over the Raiders, Ravens over the Broncos, Eagles over the Jags, Rams over the Seahawks, Lions over the Packers, Chiefs over the Bucks.
I'm just glad we don't have the Browns there anymore.
No, I stayed away from
or the
that.
team that plays the Browns.
Listen, there's a whole new quarterback in there. And Browns, I like the Chargers. They play decent.
Good defense. They run well.
I think that could be a good game. And obviously, I stayed the hell away from my Cowboys and the Falcons because who knows what you're going to get out of either side there. But we've been kind of hot on those, so we'll see how we go on that one. And that'll do it for your football. But now it's time for your football.
Yes. I'm actually really excited.
Oh, I know, because we've got a lot to talk about here. I need to get my stuff out of your way. There we go. It is time to talk some footy. Let's start with the EPL. We've been 2 weeks since we talked, and man, I've had some up and downs because, damn it, I finally won a game for the first time in a month. 2 games ago. And then VAR absolutely hosed me and took a point away from me the very following week. But that didn't matter, baby, because the Eric Ten Hag era is over at United. Finished, finito, see you, whatever the Dutch word for it is. Arrivederci, I don't care. Whatever it is, bon voyage. I'm just hitting every language but that one. See you later. Ruud van Nistelrooy has been installed as temporary manager. We've already signed our coach, our manager. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name quite yet. I don't care. He's coming from Sporting. I'm beyond excited. It's terrible that when my excitement is hiring and firing of managers, but this is the most upbeat I've been around my football team in I don't know how many weeks, and everyone who watches, and specifically you, can attest to that.
Yeah, that was kind of me all of the beginning of last season. By the way, the most common of goodbye is called dog. So dog is Dutch.
Dog. Do we know how to pronounce my name's coach? Or my coach's name? Okay, that's cool.
I will be able to pronounce it better. So hold on. Here we go. Ruben Amorim.
Ruben Amorim. I needed the last name. I had no idea on that one. He comes from Sporting. I'm super excited. Everything that we get from Sporting usually kind of turns out pretty good. Those things being Cristiano Ronaldo, Nani, and Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, we'll take those. I'm super excited. We also beat the living daylights out of Leicester City today in the Caballero Cup, 5-2. You got smoked. But let's keep it here on the Premier League. Some big things that happened this week, and Drew, you can touch on whichever ones you want. Manchester City win twice by a win and results elsewhere to vault them up there towards the top of the Premier League. Brentford.
This table is from our last, so we'll switch when we go to the preview.
Okay. Brentford and Ipswich probably play the game of the year in a 7-goal red card thriller. Chelsea clipped Newcastle 2-1 as Cole Palmer makes run for pass of the year in probably one of the prettiest balls I've seen played in a while. Although Newcastle turned around and clipped you today in the Caballero Cup. Always tough to face a club back-to-back like that.
I also just don't like this cup in general, so I'm sorry.
I understand. Manchester United get absolutely hosed by VAR, gifting West Ham a 2-1 victory. And lastly, Arsenal and Liverpool draw 2-2 in a thrilling, but once again, controversial ref game involving Arsenal. So before we get to that one, and
I thought it was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, of course you did. I do want to mention this lastly on the Ten Hag thing. The reason I'm so happy and I'm so exuberant and I'm so happy the Ten Hag era is over is for this reason specifically. I root for Manchester United. I know the expectations of this club. I don't care that I don't live in England. I root for Notre Dame. I root for the Dallas Cowboys. I know what it's like to root for a team that has massive, extreme expectations year in and year out. It's not always fun. Let me tell you. Eric Ten Hag, before Eric Ten Hag, when you had Jose Mourinho and you had Ali, the gap in the league was there, but it wasn't a huge gap. There was second and third place finishes. They won some cups. Well, at Manchester United, it is that league, and then in Europe, and then domestic cups. There is a gap between those two things being successful. So the reason those two people were let go was because while they won some cups, they couldn't quite close the gap. Under Eric Ten Hag, we've continued to collect these league cups, league domestic cups that only mean so much. And now the gap in the league and in Europe has increasingly gone bad. We're not performing well in any of our European cups that we're in, and we're not playing and developing well in the league. It was time for that to be over. Now, what I need my brother to do is take off his blue rosy glasses tinted glasses that he wears. We need to talk about this Liverpool Arsenal game, because once again, if we were to be unbiased like we are when we talk about NFL and college football, there needs to be a conversation about how Arsenal are being treated in these big games against Liverpool, Manchester United, specifically Manchester City.
So, and this is me being completely honest, I don't believe it's an Arsenal problem, quote unquote. This is a league-wide problem. I think, unfortunately, this is very similar to how a lot of people view the Patriots when they had their dynasty and the Chiefs when they had their dynasty, where you have a close game between two really good teams, and there is an opportunity for VAR to mess up, and they do.
Yes.
And I think this is the problem, where I don't believe it's specifically Arsenal, because City have gotten it, Liverpool have gotten it, we have gotten it, where they're just bad calls.
I just got it.
Right. So I agree that even the Saliba getting sent off against Bournemouth before, and then obviously this one.
The non-yellow card
to Rob Jones.
Which would have been which would have been a sending off, which is exactly how Arsenal got hosed against City with Declan Rice. So there's a legit complaint by Arsenal fans. The problem is, like you said, the complaint spread kind of across to all of us. It just so happens that, unfortunately for Arsenal, when their mistake happens to them, it isn't against Brentford. It isn't against West Ham. It's against Liverpool or Arsenal.
Yeah, and so that's going to be your big thing here, is that just it sucks. It really does. But we all are feeling it. And unfortunately, they're just feeling it in bigger moments, which is just the roll of the dice sometimes. And I would say this about any team. This is not just because it's Arsenal. I would say for my own team that you just kind of have to live with it until they figure out a way to be better.
I 100% agree with you. And I just wanted to say it so everybody knew where it was coming from, because we do tend to be a bit biased when we get into this segment. Do you want to take us into next week?
Yes, absolutely. Flying. So obviously you see your new standings with Manchester City at the top, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Villa rounding out your top four, with Chelsea and Brighton right behind. Crystal Palace jumping over Ipswich to get out of the relegation zone. And we do have some good games. Arsenal and Newcastle this weekend, Aston Villa and Tottenham. I'm going to skip over that game right now. Brighton and Liverpool is going to be a fantastic game. And as always, it can never be easy for me. I can never play a 14th Manchester United team, but they still have their coach, and we're at Stamford Bridge. Of course, they just fired their coach. They're going to get a boost from that. They're at home. We haven't beaten you since 2013 at Old Trafford. I am scared.
Fortress.
I am
Fortress.
so scared.
So yes, it is I think on the show, it is our second annual, because the first time was not actually on the show. The last time was an amazing 4-3 thriller that ended with us probably putting on one of our worst shows of all time as the game ended as we started. But the Battle of the Straub Bros, red versus blue, good versus evil, me being good. But
sure.
Yeah, 3 days ago, I would have been absolutely just pooping myself, but the swear word. I would have been not in the face, please. I would have been petrified. Now there's a little bit more swagger. Ruud van Nistelrooy, more than likely will be in the dugout for this one.
He is.
Uh, uh, our new coach will hopefully be there. He'll be there. But none of his philosophies will be in there. But Ruud van Nistelrooy will take over for us. What you're hoping is we didn't go through all of that new manager hype today as we thrashed Leicester 5-2. But I'm feeling, and this is hilarious for a team that is 11th versus 5th when I'm closer to relegation to Europe. And I'm not confident, but I'm excited. Let's go. All right. We're going to throw Casemiro with a double today. We're going to throw him out there next to Ugarte. We're going to run with our whatever formation we got in the back with Lisandro Martinez playing a left back, and we're going to come at you. And I'm extremely excited. And I hope that we can watch this together.
Nothing scares me, especially with my defense, more than an attack that is just ready to just come at you because they have nothing to lose. And that is exactly what you're going to be now. And I am just, it's going to happen. We might get one.
But we'll give you one. We give up those.
I in my head, I see a Garnacho 88th minute winner, and I am dreading that so hard right now.
Oh, you won't want to be next to me then, no. Especially as we audition for Cole Palmer to come on home next year as well.
Get out of here.
And here, I think this is funny. Since you're wearing one of my old shirts right now, which is a clean shirt, I think the loser of this game has to take a picture in the opposing brothers jersey, and it goes up on the show during the footy segment next week.
I'd make that bet. I feel like we should make a little secret one after the show, but we'll talk.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we'll definitely discuss that. All right. Enough of the EPL. Let's talk some MLS.
Gosh.
Oh, I'm excited for this as well. I do want to talk about this before we get to the playoffs. We have to talk about Philly blowing it.
Oh my God. Absolutely blowing it.
Have to talk about this. So, last game of the season, all Philly had to do was win, and I think it was draw, and get a result elsewhere that was taken care of. And they were in the MLS playoffs. And what did they do? They back passed it to their goalie, and it went through the goalie's legs into the goal. Philly loses out of the MLS playoffs.
It was my first win in like 4 games.
Oh, it was you? I forgot it was you.
Yeah.
I forgot it was you. But yeah, Philly absolutely.
I had gone with 1 draw and 3 losses in 4 games.
Absolutely. It was hysterical. And then on the Western Conference side, because we can switch over there, that was on the East. Inter Miami had run away with the Supporter Shield. And then on the West, we can talk about how my Galaxy lost the Supporter Shield, won the Supporter Shield, and lost it again, all in the 90th minute, giving it to LAFC. We played, I don't even remember who the hell we played. They scored on us. Yeah, Houston, who I hate. They scored on us, giving LAFC the Supporter Shield. We tied the game with a penalty kick, with a goal. And then, which would have given us the point to get the Supporter Shield. And then in the very 90th minute, Houston scored again. And then we missed a penalty kick.
90+11.
And then 90+11, we miss a penalty kick. that would have at least tied. It was a mess. However, that's over, and the MLS playoffs have begun. I don't want to click too far because I don't know what your graphic situation is.
Wow.
Let's go. In the opening rounds, Vancouver took care of Portland 5-0. Atlanta and Charlotte went to
Montreal.
Montreal went to penalty kicks. And then we had the first round. I'm not gonna lie.
I can read out some scores.
Well, hold on before you do that, and then I'm gonna let you roll. I have not watched this much MLS since the opening couple of weeks, and I have no problems admitting that. I don't care. Number one. Number two, if this league wants to be taken seriously, they need to clean this playoff thing up, because I'll deal with the playoffs, but this whole aggregate doesn't count and we go to penalty kicks in a tied game is just the weirdest thing in the history of Earth. Straub, take over because I need a break.
You're telling me, because I was messaging you because I had no idea how to make this graphic, because the first games, like the wild card games, are winner goes through. And okay, cool, got it. This round, it's best of 3. So no, not every team won 1-0. I'm going to read out the scores because there was no place for me to put the other scores. So, and then after that, it goes back to 1 game elimination. So, hate it. But anyways, so in order, Inter Miami won 2-1 versus Atlanta. Orlando City beat Charlotte 2-0. My Cincinnati beat New York City FC 1-0.
Where's
The
Sean?
New York Red Bulls in a he's probably gone because he knew the MLS was coming up. The New York Red Bulls in a massive upset beat Columbus on their home turf 1-0. Then we can switch over to the western side. LAFC beat Vancouver 2-1. Seattle Sounders beat Houston 5-4 on penalties, which was a fantastic game. Another penalty game, Minnesota wins 5-4 against Salt Lake on penalties. And in the biggest, just dominant performance, LA Galaxy beat Colorado 5-0. Now,
the biggest, the largest.
That result, and also I want to say the Orlando result was never in doubt. Other than that, we had some really close games this first game.
I have absolutely enjoyed throwing the MLS on one of the TVs and having these games run back to back. They're awesome. Yes, they've been amazing with all of the penalty kicks and everything like that. It is still very, very weird. I'm just saying, because it is. But yeah, there have been some fantastic games. Anything goes in the playoffs, man. It's these are 3-game series. Aggregate does not count, so you just got to win your game. So everyone, I mean, I'm not going to score 5 goals again in the second game, but there's still hope for some of these teams because it doesn't matter. That stomping doesn't matter. However, I mean, obviously form matters, so that's a big thing. But we shall see. But I expect more entertainment as we go.
Absolutely.
All right, so that'll do it for the MLS. But the footy is not done. As always, as we end the show, it is time for, as he gets back into costume, Americans.
Not the long sleeve. That's too hot.
Americans abroad. Let the music start.
Okay, we have a massive recap of the last 2 weeks. Jump right into it. Christian Pulisic, absolutely phenomenal. Assist the man of the match in a 1-0 win and a goal in a 3-1 win. Josh Sargent, an assist in a 1-1 draw. Great to see. Brandon Aronson in a goal back on the score sheet, 2-1 against Leeds. Pivotal player so far in Leeds this season. Haji Wright with a goal in a 1-1 draw, but a game-winning goal and a 2-goal comeback to win 3-2 for Coventry City. Fantastic. Malik Tillman and Ricardo Pepi both get on the goal sheet, but Ricardo Pepi with 2 goals and a man of the match in a 6-0 win, really looking strong coming on. Weston McKennie had 2 assists in a 4-4 draw and a goal today. I didn't have time to put it up, obviously, but amazing. Timothy Weah also scored in that 4-4 draw. Moving on over, Brian Reynolds scored yesterday in a 2-1 win, and we had some appearances. Cole Campbell made his senior team debut for Dortmund, and Tyler Adams, his first appearance since his injury in July, back for Bournemouth. And to swap it over to the women's to wrap it up, they are their friendlies. They won 3-1, dominated Iceland, and they have their game tonight against Argentina in Louisville.
Let's go. Well done, kid. Way to bring it home, as always. And as always, that'll wrap it up for us. Obviously, we ended on our Americans. Thank you for joining us. It's been good to be back. After we missed a week. So we appreciate you joining us here on the Straub Sports Show here on the 216 Sports Network. Follow and like us on Facebook, like and subscribe on YouTube, and you can be one of our 5.15 thousand subscribers. What can you get on the 216 Sports Network? A little bit of everything. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, which will be back. The Jay Rich Show, which will start heating up as basketball season is starting to heat up as well as the outside gets cold. The Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee, always dropping multiple episodes. And the Straub Sports Show. Where can you find the Straub Sports Show? You can find us on X at Straub Sports. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. The Instagram blowing up, Straub Sports Show. All of our interviews, please go check that out. I did an interview with Josh Cribbs. It was an absolute blessing. He was an amazing guy to talk to. Please go check that out. And obviously on Spotify, Straub Sports Show. Thank you to our friends of the show, Austin Fink at Create Your Own Wave. Make sure you follow them on Instagram, Create Your Own Wave 2021, and CYOWapparel.myshopify.com. And as always, our guys at the Falls Rapids. Remember, Straub Sports Show, your official broadcast team of the Falls Rapids. And obviously, as you see, my interview series is heating up. Make sure you go check it out. If you follow the Falls Rapids on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see them there. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll find them there as well. And don't forget, updated, we are now 5.2 thousand subscribers. Get messed up on my numbers. So yes, that will do it for us. Drew, final shout outs.
Yes. So, thank you all for watching, listening, however you digest this podcast. I do want to say, in a classy move of the Cavs, just saw this. Obviously, they always have their welcome home LeBron picture with him with the trophies, but they have added 3 more. They have added Scott Brooks, who is the assistant coach for the Lakers, but was a Cleveland Cavalier back in the day. D'Angelo Russell, obviously, for his time at Ohio State. And a picture of Bronny James saying, "Welcome home, Bronny." Oh, Cavs, classy move. Love it. And absolutely fantastic.
Listen, they've other than our issue when he first left, they have done nothing but keep it good by him since he came back. Speaking of the Cavaliers, shout out to Campy Russell, shout out to Austin Carr, and shout out to Larry Nance. They were at the trick or treat event that I got to take my son to at the Q last night, signing autographs for everybody. They were awesome. I got to shake those hands. That was an amazing thing. So yeah, awesome there. Go Cavs. And once again, thank you for rocking with us on the Straub Sports Show. And please remember to love yours.